Hey everyone, hope you are doing well. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to get the stream up and going about what I'm expecting here for some Saturday snow. Looking kind of interesting here as we look forward. I'm concerned I have too low of snowfall amounts. I'll just put that out there right now. 1 second here. I'm just pulling up the Facebook live stream. If you are watching on YouTube, thanks for joining me. Monitoring the comments on Facebook Live only, though. So if you want to join the conversation, head on over to the Chris Kubal Meteorologist page. And we'll chat just a little bit. Not much happening right now. Here's our energetic little Alberta Clipper. Look at that distinct swirl. Isn't that something? Right now approaching Glasgow, Montana. Coming in out of Alberta. This is an Alberta Clipper. I'll just start by saying if this was the heart of January, we'd be looking several inches of snow, and on the backside, significant wind gusting 30 to 40 plus miles per hour. This would be a major headache on the travel scene. Fortunately, it's early November, and it's just not quite going to be as extensive overall. Okay, so this one's coming through. We do have a weather impact alert day status. First, let me get over to the satellite picture, and I'll show you where this system is. There it is, Montana, coming in. Look at that swirl. Doesn't that look good? So it's incoming, and as I mentioned, if this is January, impacts are going to be far worse. Here we go. The timeline of events. I'm actually going to pull my camera down so you can get all of this here real quick. So this is the timeline. I think I have it timed out well, mainly for central Iowa. If you're joining me from southeast Minnesota, I'd say this is a pretty similar timeline for you. You're just on the northern edge of the snow band. So you're going to be all snow up in southern Minnesota. You would not expect any rain. This is for central Iowa. Snow is going to be north of I-80. And rain to the south, I'd say to the tune of quarter inch plus down over southern Iowa. I really don't think travel's going to be near the headache with this one. We are very, very mild. And I'll show you here in just a minute. As this comes up, some things to consider. So it's very warm. Air temperature, we're looking at the ground temperature. It's a daytime scenario, a lot working against big time snow, but this is going to be an intense deformation band that gets going, and that's going to help cool the atmosphere. And in the end, that will get us down to the area where we're going to need to get some snow. And I do think it may jump to and fro over the rain-snow line, and especially on the edges, where it does change over, you're going to see big differences. A sharp cutoff on the south side, especially where we turn to rain. That's going to be near I-80. And then on the north side into southern Minnesota, I think things are going to be around that sharp drop-off. Let me pop up the webcam here and the browser. So these are 4-inch soil temperatures here. That left panel, you can see the ground temps are 45 to 50 degrees in north of Iowa. That's very mild. I think we can overcome this overall. And the intensity of the snow is going to really pay dividends. I don't want to show you that right now. 1 second. I want to show you the sounding. And I will pick the sounding for Fort Dodge, Iowa. All right, and I want you to get a look at this. HR. We do have a lot of dry air there, you see, between 600 and 900 millibars. And we go through a process called dynamic cooling, and that helps cool down that atmosphere. See that red line drop below the freezing line right here? Freezing line's this black line. Red line is the actual temperature of the air. And notice it pops to the right side, the warm side of that 0 degree line. So that would mean rain, or at least a wintry mix at that. The gap between the green and the red is dry air. So as we bring this intense precip into the air mass, it helps actually cool the temperature. We call this dynamic cooling, and notice how that red line then pops below. And at the surface, yeah, we can have a little bit that's above. We know that there can be some shallow warm layer that snowflakes can sustain themselves through. And I think ultimately we do get to that point where snowflakes are achievable, and then at the very surface we may still just be above freezing. Okay, so we're going through that process called dynamic cooling, and with how intense the precip is going to be, and I'll just show you here right now. Let me get to the correct run. So this is 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10. This is getting to be some decent pop of snow in here. We call this the deformation band, and I think it's going to be most intense right up to where we see that rain snow line. Now, there's not going to be a lot of sleet in here today, or zero freezing rain. We're just not cold enough for that. But a lot of it's going to be a hard changeover from rain to snow. There may be a pocket or two of sleet, but you see that orange color. There's just not a lot of it. Now, that heaviest snow is going to try to hug the area, I think, between Highway 20 and I-80, okay, and then push eastward. The data is suggesting we stay mild enough over eastern Iowa. I'm not sure I quite buy that completely. I'm thinking there's still going to be a changeover that occurs there on a widespread level, but the data is trying to keep things a little bit more liquid. Notice south of I-80, that's where you have a better chance of seeing more rain with this one. And I want to show you what the cams are showing us as of late. They are very, very bullish. You see the purple? That's 6+ inches of snow. Okay, that's a lot. I currently, and I'll go over here back to my graphics, and I'll show you the latest forecast that I was running here early this evening. I may have to make some tweaks based on the data I'm seeing. I think the snow intensity is going to be up there, and it may jostle these numbers just a little bit. So you see it here. I have a lot of up to 2 inches, and then in northwest Iowa up to 3. And I think that is going to come into play, especially because they get in the snow in the cooler part of the day, or I should say before sunrise, so it's dark, right? You take that daytime heating element out of the equation in western Iowa. You get a little bit more. Okay, so that's why I'm thinking the highest amounts are going to be into northwestern Iowa. Drop that comment in the Facebook live stream, and I'll get to it. I see a few already. Wanda asking how much Austin, Minnesota is going to get, and I'd say you're going to be less than an inch on the north side of the Minnesota-Iowa border in south central and southeast Minnesota. Hi, William. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you again, old friend. Thinks roads are going to be great to get to church tomorrow night at 5:30. It's tough. Gage, I think on the travel scene, those warm temperatures I told you about on the ground, it takes a while for the snow to accumulate. And this is going to be slushy, sloppy. Watch the bridges, culverts, things that can have the air circulate around it. That will be more susceptible to seeing snow accumulate. I just don't think roads are going to be utterly terrible because it's such a warm scenario. I think snow tends to accumulate on the grass and other elevated surfaces. Now, if we do see, what the latest HR is saying, up to 6 inches, then, remove that element. The roads will be worse when you get 6 inches of snow. I don't care how warm it is. It will cool down with that much. But at my current thinking, or thinking up until this point, has been roads aren't going to be utterly terrible. Okay. I'm going to pull up the ensemble. This is going to take a second. This is the latest data coming in here. Just ignore that text box. This is it's actually old. So this right here. Oh, it's underneath. That text box, just ignore it for me because I can't remove that in the mode that I'm in. But I'll run through the snow ensemble. I'll zoom things out so southern Minnesota can see as well in on this. Model number 1, the snow. Model number 2, the snow. Model number 3, the snow. Model number 4, the snow. Model number 5, the snow. Model number, 4, 5 must be just out of the data range. And then model number 6. This is that HR run right there. Yeah, friends, I'm worried. I'm worried the intensity of the snow is going to be too much and overpower the warmth. So I've been keeping things fairly conservative, but the high-resolution models coming in are starting to say something a little bit more bullish. Sorry, Tracy. Hate to be the bearer of bad or good news. It really just depends on perspective. Sheila, yeah, hey, so let's talk about it. You know, how early is it? Snow stats coming up on screen. So that earliest dusting about a month earlier than where we sit right now. Our average first dusting is November 15th, and we're a week away. So it's on par. Last year we did it November 28th. The average first inch, and this is for Des Moines, is typically December 1st. I would say up in southeast Minnesota, if I have any followers up there, is probably about 2 weeks earlier, give or take. I'd have to look to be 100% certain. But, yeah, so the wind on the backside on Sunday, I think we are going to see some gusts in there and probably even stronger than what's being shown here. I think this data is a little conservative. I'd put it up into the 30, 40 mile per hour range, really. And on the backside, we'll have some snow showers, some early morning snow showers still lingering in the cold pool. That would be around 6 a.m. You see where that wind is popping up. And then again into the afternoon, the wind is still strong. Those will be diurnally driven, so the warming, we will warm. It's not going to be warm, but we will warm. We'll have a temperature swing diurnally up. And that's going to be enough to trigger some instability snow showers, mainly east of I-35. And if this was the dead of winter and we'd pick up several inches of snow and then we'd have this wind come along, it stirs it all up, widespread blowing, drifting. Now, we won't see that because it's just such a warm scenario. It's not going to be quite as bad as it would be on the roads if this were a January or February setup with an Alberta Clipper. So we do have that going for us. Gage, I try to stick in the next 10 days. I try not to do too much in the monthly prediction realm. I'm not good at it, just my friend. There are some teleconnections you can look at. We're kind of in a La Nina. Typically, you know, that gives us some cooler setup, but I believe there's no distinct, clear-cut how it affects the snow. I do think we're going to stay fairly dynamic overall as we go through the winter because of some of those teleconnections, but so much goes into snow forecasting, and you can explain so much just by this one storm, right? So if we were a degree warmer in the low levels of the atmosphere, we wouldn't be seeing the snow we're talking about. It'd be all rain. And so just by that subtle little change, it can throw everything askew, right? It makes it so difficult to pinpoint. I do think our temperature is going to be a touch below normal, maybe a touch below normal. I'm not going to speculate on snow because just so much goes into it. Travel on Sunday, Sheila, I don't really think is going to be a big deal. And that's mainly because we're just not going to have significant snow flying. Yeah, a couple of snowflakes in the wind, but with how warm it is going into this and our fabulous road crews, the road should be in good order. Now, will it be difficult to hold on to the steering wheel? Probably a little bit, but as far as it being icy and slick and terrible, probably not. If we do run into issues, it'd be on the Minnesota side of the border, but even still, I still don't look at the travel scene as being a huge boon for us. Thanks, William. Yeah, so November 11th. I wasn't terrible there on that speculation within about a week. So a little too far removed, I guess. So, yeah, I've been out of the Rochester area for almost 2.5 years now. It's crazy to think. But I know we still have quite the following here on this page and in this community. I'm happy to always continue to bring updates. Temperatures, and I know this won't include any southern Minnesota communities, but you can probably guess that it's going to be similar, especially as you look at those North Iowa communities. So waking up Sunday morning, teens and 20s. Wind chills will be in the single digits and teens, by the way. Then into Sunday afternoon. I don't know why I'm still zoomed out. Freezing point, a little bit below, a little bit above. And then we go into Monday morning and as teens, primarily with just a couple of low 20s sprinkled in. Wind won't be as strong by Monday morning, so still looking at wind chills into the singles to low teens. Hit me with those questions. Sheila, you're welcome. I miss southern Minnesota too. I really enjoyed it, but the allure of family is just too much, right? I've always said that. And wife, family, and I, we made the right move. Okay. Let me get things moved here so we can see southern Minnesota in there too. Here's the latest run of the HR. So a leading pop of rain, but then that changeover, that dynamic cooling, and there it is. You see the heaviest snow, generally north of I-80. There is that rain-snow mixture that's being pointed at, and then it struggles to fully change over eastern Iowa. Not sure I quite buy that. There must be a little warm pocket still trying to hold on in the upper levels, wrapping around that low to the south. It is going to be a deepening low, so it is possible. But I haven't seen the huge wraparound warm air advecting in at really any point this week looking at the forecast. So I'm not sure I quite buy that. I would expect a lot of this to be more of the snow, especially north of I-80 into eastern Iowa there. So Des Moines, Grinnell, Davenport, and up. Notice in southern Minnesota, you're kind of right on the edge of everything here. So I think your snow totals are really going to be dropping off there. Ask away in the comments. Happy to help. It's a very difficult scenario to forecast. It really is things like this because, like I mentioned earlier, that degree swing, it can totally throw things for a loop, right? And I think that's where we're at. I think we're just on the cool side of things overall. Hit me with your best shot. Anyone see the Northern Lights? What was that, Wednesday night? That was great. It was a good show. I could see it on cameras. Just pulling it up on the cameras, I could see it on one of them. We'll look outside right now. I could see it on this Knoxville one here on the left. Temps are cooling down rather efficiently. We'll get those coming up on screen. And the wind, so we're a mix of 30s and 40s right now. Let's get those wind gusts up. Okay, the wind gusts have certainly toned it down. The wind speeds are running 5 to 15. Now, tomorrow's not going to be significantly windy. That is good news. Sunday will, but by then, with how warm everything is, the snow is not going to be loose. So it's going to squat and stick, and it's just not going to move on a 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust. So I'm just not expecting that. All right. I'll show you the feels like temperatures here. This is Sunday morning, so a lot of singles to low double digits. Then we're looking at Sunday afternoon, teens and 20s, and probably teens on the northern side of the Minnesota border. And then teens, probably some single digits trying to work in for Monday morning as well. Then we will start to warm up. Big surge of warmth coming in for next week. I'll show you the 10-day briefly for Gage. Go for it. I'll show you the 10-day forecast for the next 10 for Des Moines. And as it comes up, bars will adjust. It's the first time opening this graphic on this computer, so it takes a second. Decently mild for Veterans Day. It looks like a nice string of days the end of next week. Maybe a larger system out towards early next week, but warm enough. We're looking at rain with that one at this point. What falls but does not get hurt? I don't know. You're going to have to help me out with that one, Gage. I'm not always the brightest when it comes to jokes. I think I'm going to have to up my snow forecast. I'll probably put it up to 4 in parts of western and northwestern Iowa. These cams are just too strong. Too strong. Waiting for that punchline on the internet. It just doesn't quite hit the same as it is in person, right? Wow. Rain. Yeah. You got me. That's a good one. Thanks, Gage. All right, my friends, we're about 15 minutes away from show. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for joining me on this quick Facebook Live. I appreciate you, Facebook Live and YouTube stream. I appreciate you showing the support to my social medias. Give me a follow on Facebook. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Like this video, share it, and if you're on YouTube, ring that bell so you're notified when the next video drops. You can actually ring the bell on Facebook too. I forget the exact details, but if you go on my profile, you can select to see every post that I see. So I'll keep you updated as we go into Saturday, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll be watching this very closely for you. All right? We'll see you, my friends. Take care.